Welcome to episode 5. So as you can see, we've started the task of getting this thing wired correctly underneath. And I just want to walk through where I am, what I've done so far, and what the game plan is for the rest of the project. So let's start right from here, because I chose to start from here and work my way up and over. So looking at the schematic right here, first thing I did was I took the lead that comes off of the 5Y3 rectifier right here, and you'll see that it goes up through a 2K 10 watt resistor, also the plus side of a 47 microfarad cap, same thing here, and then the negative side of the caps go to the B minus, and then there's a connection here that goes to the choke, which is the Folgers can wrapped in the red wire, and then there's a lead that comes here. So it's essentially what I have here. Here's the lead that comes off of the rectifier tube, connects right here to the plus side of the two 47 mic caps. Here's the 2K resistor, 10 watts. I also have the wire coming from the choke, coming to this point. And then I have the negative side of this tied together, and it's going to come over to this terminal strip, which is going to be my B minus rail. So that's the plan for the moment, how I'm going to handle it. Now there is one wire that comes off of this connection, which is this wire right here. So that orange wire I showed you goes to a 10K resistor and then comes down to feed the rest. So this wire is at the moment waiting. Continuing, I've started to work on this side. So this is the L1 right here. This is the 20 wind and the 50 wind, total of 70. And you'll see that I've got a connection that goes up through a .0047 cap, comes across and stops right there because I haven't done this part yet. And then, actually I have, so I have to connect that. Hold on a second. So I do have that connected to pin 3 at this point. And then I have the 50 side comes over here, goes through a 250 pico cap, a R1 resistor, which is 22K to B minus, and then comes across here to pin 5. So let's take a look at that. So right here is the 20 side of the L1, comes right here, and goes to the 0047 cap. The other end, as it's noted here, comes through and goes to a 250 pico cap, also goes to a 22K resistor, which goes to B minus, which is this B minus rail. There's also a black wire right here, which runs all the way back here and goes to pin 5 right there. So I've got all of that stuff connected. Really, the biggest challenge I'm going to have right now, which I'm working on, is getting the rest of this this mixer connected. So you'll see coming off the center tap of this inductor, it comes across to the .01 microfarad cap, which I have here. Right, this is the .01. This is the center tap. I've got it tied there right now. That's not soldered in, and it comes here. So the other side of that 01 will go to B minus, and this comes across and it connects to one side of a 4.7K resistor, a 470K resistor, comes across here goes up through the power switch, and then comes across here to this rail, which is on the other side of this 10K resistor. And then I've got another cap that'll get tied to B minus. So really, I should, just by putting another terminal strip in here, I should be able to get all this done. And this entire mixer tube will be connected. And I've got to do this one and this one as well. So that's the plan, is to get that mixer tube done today, neatly, which is why I'm taking my time. And when I get done with that mixer tube, what I should end up with is one wire right here, which is hanging out, so I can work on this section. So I'm just going to tie in a wire and just let it be for now. I'm not going to go through all this today. So that's the game plan. Game plan is getting this entire mixer connected. And then tomorrow, we're going to work on this part. which is the 6L6G output tube. Very simple. Not a lot going on here. Okay? So let me put this down. I'll work on this mixer and I'll come back. Hey folks, just to change the pace a little bit today, we're going to take a look at this relay that our good friend John from Arkansas sent us. And if you recall, this is going to be where we mount the antenna for this unit. And the reason why is because it has an octal socket, and all I have to do is wire the antenna to one of the pins, probably going to be pin 1, which is right here on the bottom of the chassis, and you plug this thing into the socket, and if you have everything mounted correctly, you're in good shape. So I've not opened this up yet. All I did is I removed the top knob. This is a variable relay. Okay, it's a delay relay or time delay. And let's open it up and see what's in there and see what we need to think about in order to get it where we want it. So it looks like there's a screw here on top. Okay, and I've taken out 3 of the screws, and there's one in there I haven't taken out yet, which is right here. Let's see what we have in there. Okay. Wow, look at that. Cool. So, let's see, we have a mechanical relay there. We've got a potentiometer, a couple of resistors, a little cap, a couple of chips, transistor. Let's see, there's a diode. Okay, so the plan is we'll have to take all this stuff out of the inside, obviously. So I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this sideboard, which is basically just connected with these pins. I don't have to be careful and try to save it. So let me get the snippers, and we're gonna cut that off first. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to snip these leads right here. This is the fun part, cutting stuff. Alright, just like that, that board is gone. Just want to see if there's anything obvious in here that broke, the reason why it was replaced. I don't see anything. I could probably save that potentiometer though. Let's see, I don't know what the value is. I can always check that. Okay. Alright, so here's our board. And if I'm seeing things correctly, I don't know if you could see that, the pins are coming straight up from here, going through the board and connecting directly to this relay. So if I were to cut the pins very close to this piece right here, I could theoretically preserve one of them and not have to disturb all the solder and stuff. Well, I've got nothing to lose. Let's cut that one right there. And that one. And that one. Let's see what we have on this side. We've got one right here. Okay. Then it looks like we've got a pair right here. That one's a little tight. Let's see if we can grab it from here. Alright, so far so good. And I think all we're left with now are 2 pins in the center here, which hopefully I can get this in here and snip it. Let's see. There's one. There's 2. Okay. Looking good so far. So these pins right here are the pins that connect to the tube socket. I don't know what holds this board in. I don't know if it's soldered in from underneath, but I'm not really going to worry about it. That board can stay where it is. We're just going to simply cut these components off. Let's start from scratch here. Alright, so now the board's clean. So all I really need to do now is ohm out one of these pins, okay, and figure out which one I'm going to connect the antenna to. Now the way it's going to work is I already have a hole in the top of this thing, which is very, very good. So I'll figure out a way to mount the antenna inside the hole, like so, and then I'll figure out a way to connect this to one of these pins. Not so hard.
Searching. I don't see anything to connect. Check the device you'd like to use and make sure Bluetooth is turned on. To set up
Alexa's talking all by herself. Interesting. So anyway, that's the plan. So we've now got this thing cleaned out and stripped, and now it's going to be up to me to figure out how I'm going to connect this and how I'm going to maintain a good solid connection here with this. I know John used glue on his. I'm going to think a little bit more about this and see how I want to handle it. And then it's simply just running a wire to one of these pins. Very, very cool. So anyway, that's the story with the relay. So for now, we're going to put this back together because we don't want to lose the screws. I remember seeing that in a video recently about a jukebox, I think. Always put the screws back. So we'll put the screws back in. And that'll give me some time to think about what I want to connect now that I know what it looks like inside there. So let's do that. There you go. And there she is. Alright, so I even end up with a nice little knob. Maybe I can use that for the tuning cap. We'll see. So there's that. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at the underside of the chassis. I'm going to give you one last update, and I think I'm going to end this video, episode number 5, and the rest of the wiring will be done in episode number 6. So let me get the chassis, and we'll see where we're going. Be right back. Okay, so let's talk about progress here. So on the mixer tube, everything that you see marked in orange has now been connected, except for pin number 1. Pin 1 is the only one that I haven't done yet, and that connects to this 0.01 microfarad cap, which goes to the center tap of L1. I haven't done that yet, and obviously there's a connection that comes all the way across here up to this 10K resistor right here. So that's the only piece I have left to do for the mixer tube. Taking a look underneath the chassis, you can see that I've got 2 rails here, one here and one here. I only have B minus, on this terminal right here, on this terminal, and on this terminal. Everything else I'm using to connect, so I'm trying to keep the connections compact. And it's working out pretty well. I'll probably end up with 2 more terminal strips, one here and one here, and that will give me all the space that I need to connect everything else. But for the most part, my mixer tube has all the wires. Of course, I've got to lead dress these wires better, and I've got some other connections to make. And again, this is for the tuning cap. This wire actually goes to this 10K resistor, wherever I end up mounting that. So we're making good progress, and I think we're doing so in a compact way, which is great. I'm being really careful about how I run the wires, as I don't want any hum and interference. And the next step for me is for the remainder of this week is to complete pin 1 right here, get everything connected here, and then start to work on this power switch and all the connections that go to the 6L6G. Pretty straightforward. So I have a question for you. These terminal strips, I'm having a heck of a time getting solder to stick to these things. I've tried sanding them, I've tried putting some rosin on them, I've tried everything, and it's just, I'm having a hard time getting the solder to stick to them. It could be they're old and they've got some tarnish on them, so I've tried cleaning them. I'm getting it done eventually just by laying the iron on it for like 10 minutes just to get it really hot, but just wondering if any of you have had that problem with terminal strips. Just curious. So so that's what I've got done so far. I've got these to connect yet, and I've got to mount this down. This is still not soldered in the center tap, and I've got to find a way to mount that, and I don't want those coil wires to hit the chassis right here. So I'll have to take a look at that. So that's our progress today. All right. And the rest we'll cover in episode 6. So everybody have a great night. Thanks. See ya.